It's a major lineup for sure, isn't it?
Exactly. The Chromet is the only one that hasn't really had, this kind of experience. This is his first big tournament of his career, but everyone else pretty much seen big tournaments. So, yeah, I mean, the resilience of this team is actually remarkable. The way they beat Renegades earlier today, coming back from a pretty bad situation was pretty cool to see. And then on the Immortals game as well, on Cash, they were down, 3-12 first half, and they're still coming back into it, almost making it back. So resilience, I think, is the best word to really describe this team.
Yeah, they're one of only two teams that have a chance to go to the major that started in the open qualifier in the very first week, Penta being the other one that have already made it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone doubts this roster and the players that they, with given time, they can be a contender. It's just that now, realistically, looking at their play and things like their map pool and so on, there are obvious flaws and holes in their game, right? Sure. I don't think they're major ready necessarily right now. I mean, with the draw and everything, they can make it in time. I'm sure they're going to continue improving, like any team will, and maybe through a couple of months we'll see them at more tournaments. But I mean, it is what it is. They have the opportunity to clinch a major spot right now, put in a lot of work before the major actually comes in, and iron out those mistakes that they've been making so far.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what they've been doing, isn't it, for the last couple of months with all these qualifiers. It's like losing, winning, like a cycle of we're learning more as we play.
And also, just looking at the play style they play is very simplistic. It's a lot about just quite fast-paced tactics. For example, in Mirage, they would take control of Connector very quickly and then just kind of run with it if they get the entries, or just ramming the bomb sites, do contact plates. That's the things they were doing against Renegades. That's usually the kind of things that quite newly formed lineups do, because it's easier to execute that kind of way. There's less room for error in those kind of situations where it's more about just running and gunning to a bomb site. So they definitely still have ways to go.
I mean, then they have mechanically strong players, good aimers, the likes of J-Chem, Crowman as well, right? A good aimer, so try to utilize them, try to put them in a position to succeed.
Okay. Vega Squadron, on the other hand, is it fair to say they've had a harder road to get here? They've certainly won better games, haven't they?
I mean, to an extent, I think it's pretty even in that sense. They had games against Optic and Tyloo. Optic, as we now see, have been very, very underwhelming. Yeah. That game against Tyloo, it was a game of who is trying harder to lose the game, pretty much. I mean, the amount of mistakes that Tyloo made in some of the after-plan situations and the decision-making really made it easier for Vega Squadron to win that game. But we saw some great performances from them, mostly individually. That Tyloo game, it was JR, Train against Optic, it was Mir. So you can see the potential. It's just a matter of, in some of those crucial rounds, the execution is just lacking, even if the idea is there. They lose to Penta 16-8. It could have easily been at least a much closer game. They've been having good reads. Penta comes to the bomb site where Vega is waiting for them, but they just can't execute. They just individually falter in the crucial moments, and the rounds fall apart.
I'll be a caveat here. JR on your screen right now. I personally have really enjoyed watching him at this time. I think he's been a bit of a revelation, actually. He wasn't maybe one of the players we looked at. We're all talking about Mir because we knew what he was like. We'd seen him against NIP. JR maybe flew under the radar a little bit, but he's proved his worth here. Yeah,
it definitely has. Has been one of the key factors for his team to be here. So many clutches and impact facts he's had in a lot of rounds where his team might have not been anywhere near winning it. Winning a 1-on-4, was it against Tyloo? That ridiculous one where people were running through smoke. So obviously the help of Tyloo was there part of it, but you still have to point and click with that mouse to be able to make those strikes happen.
Apparently you have to press that mouse button.
Always the most difficult part of the game for me.
Always same.
That's why you're sitting here.
Yep, that's why we're here and there and there. In terms of the way that they played, how have you assessed them in the up and down that they've had?
I mean, I've liked the kind of aggression they've shown on the city side specifically. It's still, like Janko was saying, that they kind of tunnel vision on a lot of the situations when they once they are entering bomb sites. Like, they forget about the parts of, we throw the smokes, we flash in, we go in, but what happens next? Then no one really seems to be thinking at that point in time anymore. Becomes very individualistic, and there's no buddy system going on where you have those refrags coming in. You make sure if let's say in a map like Train, you're pushing in aggressively, you get very good positions and make it really hard for opponents to be taking the bomb site back. So that kind of seems to be their issue, that they just kind of forget about the team aspect of the situation after they are committed to a push.
Map veto's incoming, Yanko. Dignitas have a very limited pool here. Is that going to hurt them?
It can hurt them. I think it's going to be very important who goes for the nuke ban here and also cobblestone to an extent, because looking at Vega Squadron, they probably don't want to let overpass through, and they don't want to do the same with like nuke and cobble. Those would be their 3 bans, but that means you let through Mirage, and Mirage is the map that Dignitas won twice in the tournament already. Vega lost it to Hellraisers with that very poor performance on the T side in their opening game. So I think they have to gamble and, you know, squeeze in a Mirage veto there as well and leave it on to something like maybe Cash or Inferno.
Yeah, I mean, Dignitas has alluded to the fact that they only have 3, maybe 4 maps that they are relatively... 3 that they're really comfortable on. Mirage and Cash being them. I think Inferno is one of them as well. And then, you know, Overpass, they played it, but it's not, you know, it's not one of them that they're really comfortable on. So that's pretty much what they're playing with.
All right, let's take a look at the map veto and see how it's panned out. And it's going to be Inferno.
All right, then.
Yeah, so they do go for the Mirage ban, and we see that Nuke was banned in the end by Dignitas, and you can see how Vega realized it. Like, they left it all the way through, so they realized they just need to make that gamble, can't allow Mirage to go through for Dignitas, and it pays off in the end. They get Inferno now. You know, they did have that sketchy performance against Tyloo. I mean, it was 16-10, but it was a lot messier than maybe the result in itself shows, and then they really need to be focused in situations where, like, that's so important. Like, they have banana control and leave 1 player in banana as CT, 4 players are on A, and that player needs to play super smart. He can't be, you know, aggressive and challenging and fighting duels. He's just there to gather information. If he gets pushed late on into the round, he just needs to buy time for his teammates to come in from A to provide him support. We saw that guy aggressive outside banana, just holding gambling on his crosshair placement to get kills. He dies, even if it's a 1-for-1 trade, even if it's a 2-for-1 trade. Still, the T's get entrance into the bomb site. They can set up in any crossfires that they want. They have enough time, and it can be very difficult for your teammates to retake in that situation. So once you do, that's the hard work, getting into that position and baiting your opponents to come to you. Once you manage that, you really need to play out the rest of the round properly, because that's quote-unquote the easier part.
Okay.
And Inferno, it's a map Fox used to be really good on from a Dignitas point of view back in the days. You know, it was, I remember Cluj-Napoca, if you go all the way back there, when he was playing for, were they G2 at the time, I think they were?
Yeah, they were G2.
That was the one map he was always excelling on, just putting that hammer down in banana. So, going to be very interesting to see. Also, Dignitas hammered Penta on Inferno 16-2 at the European Minor. So, yeah, this could be an interesting one.
It could be a lot of fun.
It's a great map for them on the CT side, right? You have a lot of skilled players. It's just what we heard from Rubino in some of the post-game interviews. The communication needs to be on point on this map. You need to be, as a rotator, to say, okay, I'm coming back to A, I'm holding a pop flash for you on B, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Everyone needs to know what's happening, because things can move very, very quickly.
Okay, thanks very much, gents. We're all ready for this particular matchup. Remember, it's do or die. The winner goes to the major. The loser is done once more for the major season. So let's head over to our commentators for this one. It is Henry G and Sadakist.
Yeah, last time Vega in the qualifier was the story of it, if you will, on the good side of the NIP win. 16-2 on Cash. Never actually made the major, but it was the talking point. It was big for their promotion. Now against Dignitas, storied brand, organization's been in the major, it's a new team, so they actually have a chance to go a little bit further, but Dignitas have been improving throughout, and it's a map that they basically played, I think, 4 times at the minor.
Yeah, and they were getting better every single time. I remember you casting a particular game and saying their CT setters weren't good enough, and then the next day...
It was literally the worst one I ever saw.
Yeah, right? And then the next day, I spoke to them and I said, yeah, we're going to work on it tonight. We'll fix it for tomorrow. I didn't believe that, and they actually did. They turned out it was probably their best map overall for the entire tournament at the end. No one could touch them on it. They'll be starting on the T side here. As Paul said, do or die time. Winners going to the major. I would say Dignitas pretty happy with this draw. Vega Squadron, definitely one of the kind of unknown quantities, if you will, of this event. Hard-hitting team. They played Tyloo on this earlier in the tournament, 16-10. JR going off for the AWP. He'll be up against Fox this time. I do favour Dignitas, but we'll see how things pan out. 3 sets of armor. A couple of HE grenades, interesting enough, on the T side as well. Tensky got the HE and a smoke grenade. So those will be going towards top of banana. Does a bit of damage towards Mer. Jacob trying to find the frag and return as JR opens things up.
Opens it up indeed. JR is going to back off. He's been tagged at 54. They're going to wrap onto him, but the rotation is already coming in, so he's realized as he crosses over Fox that there's a lot more going on in that position than he originally anticipated. So too behind. Oh, new box. Last bullet. Chopper hits Tensky, and he'll get Rubino as well. Good start for Vega.
Very good start. Quite a simple strategy there from Dignitas, using those HE grenades at the start of the game, trying to push off the CTs at the top of Banana, but they didn't check the sandbag position. That's a key fault there in their play, losing a lot of damage in a couple of players at that point, and then Chopper stepping up tremendously there from the new box. You pointed out with that silent USP, 3 frags for here, and that was a bit of a problem. No bomb plant going down. Has to be the force buy now from the terrorist. All 5 players getting involved. Tech 9s, armor, some CZs and PG50s in there as well. Jacob's got the Desert Eagle. He's a very good Desert Eagle player. We'll see what he can do. Only 1 rifle Vega Squadron here. That's the famous 3 UMPs, and JR's got the Scout. I criticised that, but he's actually been sick with the Scout in this tournament, so we'll see what he can do here. Against Tyloo, he was hitting all sorts of shots on their force buys. Chop up, investigates towards Banana here. Doesn't find much just yet, but falling back. CT is actually enabling him to hold that side by himself. He's got the only rifle, Chopper, so makes sense. Play at the top of Banana, try and get 1 frag and stay alive. That'll be his objective. We've only got 1 smoke here for Dignitas, so the very common smoke is smoking towards the left-hand side of the art side, just in front of the library. Still had that smoke, and you flash over and you're trying to force your way up quad.
Fox flashed off. Won't be able to do much from the bench position. 4 players already on 8. Ooh, JR, 1 HP. That's frustrating. Sorry about that. Sorry, not sorry. Near back of the site, because Shander's going to play on the railing. That's playing with fire quite literally because it's at his feet. He still manages to get a kill, but Jacob gets 1 more. It's the last of which they'll find on the Dignitas side. No bomb plant down, and it's 2-0 for Vega.
2-0 for sure. Vega Squadron denying the plan once again. The force buy only really finds 2 kills with Dignitas there. Pretty decent, disappointing showing so far from them. We'll adjust on the CT side with an MP9. Still got the UMPs, of course, as well, and that 1 famous for Chopper. Still on 3-0. Mir is on 4-1. Only $300 invested into this round by the Dignitas squad. That's the PT50 for Jacob. So his money will be a little bit lower than his teammates, but that's fine. A rush down middle, very common strategy. Try and shut down the round as quickly as possible. It's an absolute bloodbath. And the Banana side, very quick round indeed. HE grenades find 2 frags, and the MP9s and UMPs spraying them down. This is certainly a bonus round map for sure. And MP9 will be going into round number 4 by the looks of things. It's being juggled around. Maybe they won't keep it. I see an M4 being purchased. Okay, so it does get thrown away. That would be a little bit too much, I think. So 1 UMP, 1 FAMAS, and a Scout. Still goes under the remit of the bonus round, meaning that you keep your lesser weaponry here to try and really secure your financial situation up against Dignitas, who have forced the last couple of rounds. And they're pushing down middle once again, the CTs.
Down indeed, Fox. 1 kill. Tensky, oh, has to be better than that. Huchi wins a double duel, but it's Jacob that's going to swing back around and save all hope. 15 HP for him as he gets in from alt middle. A little bit late to bail his teammates out any sooner, but Huchi's luck runs out.
Yeah, it's unlikely you're going to win the round of Scouts, UMPs, for example, but if you can bring it down to 1v1, something close, just damage the economy of the T's, and you come back with a full buy next round, that's when things get interesting for you. That's when you can fully reset a team like Dignitas. So still pretty much out of this round with Chopper and Mir, low HP. They get 1 more kill, though, to keep damaging, keeping Dignitas modest. That would be great. Still have a slight chance of winning the round. Dignitas know that. I mean, very tentative so far. Set up for any sort of CT reactions. Bombs still down at T steps. They've got smokes, they've got Molotovs. Flashbang as well. Looks like they'll head towards Banana to finish this round off. That's where Chopper will be waiting for them. He's got that aforementioned FAMAS. Smoke as well. If he times as well, he could lock them out and make things problematic for them at least. 45 seconds remain. Dignitas do edge their way up. So he's smoking spawn, smoking coffins. As soon as those smokes come over, Chopper needs to deploy his own. Try and get 1 kill. And maybe Mir can do the same. We'll see what happens. He's actually on this side of the map as well, so this is actually looking a little bit problematic.
Good shot, Chopper. What? Hits 2 from over the coffins. Big kill, all Rubino.
No!
Has to plant, and they push through. He's in the smoke. That's how you steal a round.
Absolutely. We need to see that in slow motion. That FAMAS from the coffins position as well. Dignitas going before the smoke blooms map means he gets vision. He gets a chance. They needed to be slower there. Just wait for the smokes to go up and actually eradicate that being a risk. They go a little bit too quickly. The double spray down comes in. And you could see the plant there. They just assume that other CT players on the other A side of the map. He goes to the open plant, tries to increase his chances of winning the round. So Jacob, great recovery into this one, but it wasn't enough. That's gutting. So the smoke hadn't gone up. You can see he gets a double frag. Yeah, it's a little bit lucky, but he shouldn't be given a chance to have any vision there. That's a little bit of a misplay from Dignitas. And now they're down to another eco. Deagles, Tech 9s. CZ as well. Not a good start for the international squad here. Certainly a new team, a couple of months this project's been going on. Impressed us at the minors somewhat. Came third place to be fair, but we saw potential.
Good shot, Hutchie again to take down Rubino. We did ask the question yesterday against Tyloo. Good refrag from Jacob. This actually opens up the archway. Already a rotation back towards CT from JR though, and we know he's up to the task. Yeah. We asked the question if you'd like a red dragon or a shark.
Sure.
Now it's a shark or a logo created in MS Paint in 2002.
Ooh. Spicy man.
Spicy man. That's exactly what he is on the right side. But I still wonder, what is he made of?
We'll find out. Chroman of the Deagle. Certainly good with that weapon. It's a 4-on-1 though. JR, nice discipline from him. He gets that first frag, but the second decides to fall back. Doesn't want to give anything away. Every kill means so much in these best of one, especially on the CT side. The Shannon finish things off 5-0. Maximum loss bonus for Dignitas now. A little bit unfortunate in the last few, especially in that round where they had the 3-on-2 and the low HP CT players. Gutting for them. Rubino, not an experienced in-game leader. Comes from North and the previous Dignitas lineups as well, under the helm of MSL. I'm sure he learned a lot from him, but still adjusting. And the first time, obviously, he's calling in English as well. It's difficult to adjust, and slowly but surely, the team's getting better. You see Fox with the AWP now, a player that's impressed us recently at lesser tier tournaments, obviously, with the minor, but he seems like a lot more assertive, I should say, at the start of each round.
Flames on the stairs. Flash out, smoke off. Croman wanted to take the peek, but can't now.
Yeah. Ooh. Default for now for Dignitas. Edging for some banana control, pretty standard stuff. Apartments as well, so Tensky and Fox have picked that up. Fox might take a challenge towards CD spawn. He does indeed, but smoked out. Probably has to fall back, fires off a shot, just for good luck.